October is coming to an end. The landscape sleeps hidden in a dense fog where only pine trees seem to be alive. The once golden leaves have turned into a lifeless brown blanket that prepares to shield the earth from the gentle touch of snow. The sun is timid and weak. Outside it was almost dark at 4 p.m, but the main room was lit up by the fireplace and several candles, creating a magical aura. We were all wearing dark dresses and evergreen crowns. The large table was beautifully laid, adorned with lavender and other flowers that Aunt Florence had hung to dry last summer. Preserved golden leaves were placed underneath the glasses, and pumpkins of all colors and sizes filled every nook and cranny of the table. There was enough food and even more dessert: pie, potatoes, soup, bread, pancakes, and raspberry meringues. To one side of the table, between the fireplace and Aunt Florence's rocking chair, there was a much smaller table with a steaming pot and a brass heater. The steam flooded the room with a sweet autumn smell. A similar mix was served in our glasses. This was Rose's favorite drink, spiced grape and apple punch. Everything was ready for the end of the harvest season supper. But before we sat down at the table, we gathered by the fire around the steaming pot and held hands. Aunt Florence was the first one to speak.
We give thanks to the earth and the spirits of nature for the abundance in our home. We are grateful for your kindness and for the hands who work in your fields. We offer our deepest appreciation to your flora and fauna and to all the elements around us. Guide our souls and our actions so we can bring harmony and kindness to every life we touch. May we all be grateful for all we have at this moment in time, and let us never forget that we are all part of you.
We let go of each other's hands, and Aunt Florence took a small sack from the mantelpiece. She added star anise to the mixture and said,
May the spirits of nature protect those who are not with us anymore.
She passed the sack to Bonnie, who took a cinnamon stick and dropped it into the pot, saying, May the spirits of nature protect those in poverty and suffering. Then she passed the sack to me, and I knew we were also expected to say something. I took another star anise, and adding it to the pan, I said, May the spirits of nature open our hearts and give us the wisdom to choose what is right. The words seemed to simply come out of my mouth, without thinking too much. I then passed the sack to Rose. She took a couple of cloves and dropped them into the mix, saying, May the spirits of nature protect this friendship and grant us kindness to share with others. Aunt Florence had a proud smile on her face, and Rose and I felt part of the family. We knew her heart carried an immense sadness after the loss of her husband, but she felt at home and loved. Bonnie was an important part of it, and although she believed it was Aunt Florence who had saved her life once, the truth was that they had both saved each other's lives. The feast could not end any other way. Music and dancing, singing and laughter, tenderness and hope. The feast could not end any other way for these unique ladies. Music and dancing, singing and laughter, tenderness and hope. That night, Emma and Rose fell asleep almost immediately. The next morning, as the sun tried to melt the frost, the girls carried baskets crammed full of crabs, pies and blankets to the carriage. Once everything was ready, they kissed Bonnie goodbye and set off with Aunt Florence. After a cold 20 minutes, they arrived at the Clarks, a poor family that received help from the order. Aunt Florence accepted their invitation to come inside and told the girls they would have tea and cake before going back to the house. On the way back, the girls asked Aunt Florence why she had accepted their cake instead of leaving it for them who needed it more. The wise word they heard next marked Emma and Rose forever.
My dears, no matter how poor or rich we are, giving is always rewarded. Just as their bellies need food and the bodies need blankets, their hearts need kindness and friendship. Helping is not just about bringing them food. It is also about sharing with them, spending time with them, and showing them that we really care.
Emma and Rose were doing wonderfully, but they knew that there was still plenty to learn.